Ayira, with her young son Naji, looked up at the dark clouds covering the sky. They lived in a small town and life had not been easy for them. Her husband, Tunde, had disappeared in a flood 2 years ago, and life was even more difficult for Ayira after this loss. Ayira took care of her son by cleaning and sewing in the town, but it was getting harder and harder to make ends meet. She looked at her son's face and sighed. Is a better life possible? She thought. Maybe it would have been possible if he had a father. One of the town's wealthy men made Ayira an offer. If you become my wife, your son will be comfortable. Ayira was negative to this offer. The whole town knew what he was like. She thought about the future of her little boy. She felt sick to her stomach. Was this salvation or a new hell? Ayira tied her son to her back and decided to leave the town at night. The storm had started. The wind was blowing fiercely. There was only darkness, rain, and fear. Unknown ahead, danger behind. Despite all this, she managed to escape. When the day dawned, Ayira and Naji were standing by the river, watching the slowly rising sun. A new life was ahead of them. Now they would write their own destiny, and the old ones were left behind in the stormy night. After days of walking, Ayira and Naji reached another town. It was bigger, more crowded and bustling. People were selling food in the marketplace, and street children were running around laughing. But Ayira was a stranger here and had only a few copper coins in her pocket. Not knowing what to do, she looked at her son, whose hand she held tightly. Ayira wandered around town looking for work, but no one would give her a chance. Her stomach was hungry, her feet were tired, her hope was running out. Naji began to cry from hunger. Just as she was about to collapse in despair, an old woman approached her and handed her half of her bread. When Ayira thanked the old woman made her an offer. Work in my house. Help me. Your son will be safe here. Ayira accepted with tears in her eyes. There was no other way out. Months passed. Ayira helped with the housework, learned to sew with the old woman, and started selling fabric in the market. Her son Naji started playing with the other children in the town and was now safe. Now her life was beginning to change. Just when everything seemed to be looking up, one day someone from Ayira's past came to town. The wealthy man of the town. You rejected me, but did you think you could live here in peace? Ayira's heart clenched with fear. The nightmare must have found her here. Ayira looked at him without blinking. You can't scare me. I am no longer weak. The old woman and the townspeople gathered around her to support her. The man's face tightened with anger, but he could not stand up to a crowd alone. He walked away, shouting curses. That night, Ayira looked up at the stars and sighed. Her son snuggled next to her. Mommy, we don't have to be afraid anymore, do we? Ayira hugged him and whispered, No, we are free now.